Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Apod. Fun chats, fun topics, fun people. Here on MSGNetworks.com, iTunes, Google Play, wherever you get your podcasts. My name is Arda Ocal. Thank you very much for listening to the Apod and also leaving a rating and review. For those of you who have left 5 stars, thank you very much for doing that. It definitely helps iTunes push the podcast forward. There's a little algorithm behind the scenes, and that helps it so that it'll get on featured lists and in other people's feeds so that people will find the podcast. So, if you hear some background noise, it is Zelda Breath of the Wild. My girlfriend is playing in the other room. I am locked in a closet right now so that I can soundproof myself as much as possible. And if it doesn't work, I apologize. But her and I have been absolutely addicted to Zelda Breath of the Wild for the Nintendo Switch for the last week and a half. It is, I would dare say, the greatest video game I've ever played. And I am a big fan of retro games. I love Mega Man, Super Mario Brothers, Street Fighter, all fantastic games. But this one, in terms of playability, attention to detail, what you can do in the game, the main quests versus the side quests versus the shrine quests versus just the fact that it's an open world and how much you can explore, this might be the greatest video game of all time. This might be the pièce de résistance for the entire Nintendo company for all time, forever. It's that good. If you haven't played it, you got to play it. The map, I was reading a couple things online. Apparently the map, in ratio to a real city, is about 3/4 the size of Manhattan. So that gives you an idea of how much exploring there actually is to do in this game. And there is a lot. And there are a lot of different facets to this game, which makes it so impressive. Honestly, it's so robust and so much fun. We've been playing hours a day. Our social lives have gone out the window. This is all we're doing. And we don't care. The level of detail, though, the attention to detail, like, for example, there's a lot of climbing in the game. You can't climb as well when it's raining. If there's a lightning storm and you're holding metal objects, you'll get electrocuted. There, even one little thing, I mean, there's a lot of details. I won't give them all away. Those are just 2 there. But one of them that I just recently discovered, which I thought was phenomenal. This is next level amount of detail in a video game. The merchants where you buy and sell items, the items for sale will actually be cheaper if they are selling them outside in the rain than it will be in sunny weather or indoors. That's next level. That is so cool. I think it was a bundle of arrows that I was going to buy for like 14 rupees. Rupees are the currency in Zelda. So I was going to buy them for 14 rupees, and then a couple of hours later, it was started to rain. I found another outdoor merchant who was walking around. I asked to buy arrows again, and the price went down to 12. So I investigated online, and turns out that's a thing in the game. How awesome is that? The shadows also are next level detail. Anyway, that's enough about revealing what's in the game. Definitely go and check it out. And I was at the Nintendo New York City store a few days ago and got to try Super Mario Odyssey, also a game that I'm really excited for the Switch that's coming out in September that I'm really looking forward to. So, yeah, lots to get excited about regarding the Nintendo Switch. And I believe Zelda, there will be a DLC, a downloadable pack, at the end of this month in June and at the end of the year. So, fellow video game nerds, rejoice. There's a lot to look forward to. So, our guest this week on the Apod is NJ Devil, the mascot for the New Jersey Devils, the man behind the mask. Who is the man who portrays NJ Devil at all New Jersey Devils home games? The character that you know and love if you're a Devils fan. You've seen NJ around. He high fives, gives hugs, the thing that I love the most is that he is so good with children. And I see this time and time again whenever I work a Devils game. Even if NJ Devil is in a hurry to get from one spot to another, he will always make time for a child or a family just to give them that extra moment, that added value for being at the game. And I appreciate that so much as somebody who is in that, event space. It's so welcomed, and it's such a cool thing to do. And certainly many mascots, if not all of them, do that sort of thing. But props to NJ and the man behind NJ for doing that for so many years and countless times that I've seen. So this is a fun conversation, especially if you've ever been curious on how someone becomes a mascot, because there aren't too many interviews out there with mascots. So I thought that this would be a really fun chat with NJ to talk about what it's like, how he became a mascot, how anybody interested in that world, how it works. Is it a full-time job? How do you land with one of the 4 major professional teams? What it's like to be in a visitor's building, whose visiting fans are the toughest on him. A lot of interesting pieces of information came out of this one. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Here it is, the conversation. And by the way, we refer to him as NJ in the interview. So the identity, still, there's a little bit of mystery that we definitely need to keep here. And we are. I'm going to honor that. Perhaps it's the mascot code. Whatever it is, we're protecting the identity. Much like a Mexican professional wrestler, a luchador, who never takes off his luchador mask in public. The fact that NJ even did this interview is appreciated enough. So enjoy this conversation on the Apod here with NJ Devil. All right, sitting here in a conference room, Prudential Center. We're in Newark, and we're in a conference room, and we're with NJ Devil. His name shall remain nameless. His name shall be NJ Devil. You are NJ Devil.
That's what it says on the back of the jersey.
And he can talk. I can't believe it.
There is a voice.
My mind is blown. So what does NJ Devil do in the off season? Let's start with that. I mean, you're sitting here in a conference room with me, but what do you do in the off season?
So a lot of what we do is, as some of the guys who are full time, as myself.
You're a full-time employee with the Devil.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my job is not only, it's not only to perform as NJ, but it's also to run the brand as well, the brand marketing. Behind, I guess, NJ Devil itself. So in the off season, we're doing business planning for next year as far as how we want to promote in-game visits, private events. Use NJ within our business planning for street hockey, youth hockey, Read Across America, charity walks, all sorts of stuff that NJ is involved with in the grassroots and community side, is what we're really doing for next year. And then on top of that, but on top of all the business planning, is still facilitating private events and charity events and anywhere where NJ's asked to be throughout the summer as well. We do a lot of camp visits, summer camps with our street hockey program. So our street hockey program is huge in the summertime. The YMCA's, day camps, sleepaway camps, all sorts of stuff. So we do a lot of that in the off season as well.
How many events would you say you appear at as NJ Devil a year?
So I can't really break it down per week, because some weeks are just, if we have 3 games in a homestand, I don't generally do appearances on a home game. So throughout the year average would probably be, 200 to 215.
That's a lot. Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of times of having to facilitate an alter ego. Yeah.
And how many of those events would be you would have to fly to or travel to? I'm assuming a lot of them would be local.
Yes.
But
yeah, so a lot of them are local. And one of the other things that I do as well within that local is, so about 2011, and I'm sure we'll get into backstory of how,
I want to get into all about becoming a mascot, but I want to ask these fringe questions off the top of my head first.
Sure, yeah, no problem. So, the thing behind travel is, so I was able to, when I got here, kind of had a blank slate of, nobody, not that they didn't take the brand seriously, but NJ, the longest time someone's been NJ was 2 years. before I got here. So I was able to develop a lot of things. So I was able to work with Ford and in 2011, and we've got a truck. It's branded and everything. So I drive that everywhere locally. And then, so I would say probably about 80%, 85% of those events are local. New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania. And then when I do fly, it's either other mascots are having like a mascot celebrating their mascot's birthday, or like a mascot celebration, or something along those lines to kind of make the game experience a little different. They'll fly other mascots in, as long as we don't have appearances or games and our schedule permits. We can fly and do ththose games for other clubs and organizations. I get asked to do quite a bit of them, which I don't know if it's just people want the devil there, or that's where the brand has gone. So it's one of the most it's a very popular one, I would say, over the years of developing.
I mean, I think you've done a terrific job,
Yeah.
because what list just came out? What
was
publication
Deadspin.
was that? Deadspin released a list of the best mascots in North America, was it?
I believe it was in
Or was it
North
the world?
America. I believe it was North American Pro Sports.
And the NJ Devil was the number one American hockey.
And yeah, an NHL mascot.
That's
and
outstanding.
yeah, so I mean, of course I don't I'm not promoting, and I don't
No, I'll
campaign.
say it.
I mean, I don't campaign for these these lists. It's obviously like a group of people who either they sit in a room and they come up with lists all the time. But anyway, so I do a couple of those a year, and then obviously the All-Star game. The NHL has us there for 4 or 5 days. We do, the red carpet event, fan fest appearances throughout the day, the skills competition. We do our own game. We're there for the games, the 3-on-3 tournament. So, yeah, the NHL has us there doing quite a bit of appearances in a 4 or 5 day period. So I do travel, and then throughout the playoffs, I think a lot of people saw the Enterprise commercial with Marty. So I actually
That must have been fun to shoot.
Yeah, that was that was fun, because that's a great time, because Marty and I have known each other for quite a bit. I mean, we've known each other for 11 years. I've held his youngest daughters and son when they were infants. I've known him and his wife for 10, 11 years now. So him and I have known each other for quite a bit, and so when we were on set, it was pretty funny, because the people, the producers, the directors, they didn't know how close we were, and so him and I would banter a little bit back and forth, and the director had to stop, and he's just kind of like, "Do you guys actually know each other?" We're like, "Yeah, we know each other pretty well, actually." So it kind of blew his mind, but that was fun. It was fun. It was hot. It was a 5-hour shoot in LA. In the middle of the sun, that they were able to cater to Marty's needs, but
being in a
Yeah,
suit.
exactly.
I remember I dressed up as a mascot twice in my life. You'll appreciate
How'd
this,
that
I'm
go?
sure. So the first time was in high school. I went to a high school where the mascot was a wildcat. I dressed up as a wildcat, and I was awful both times. Obviously, there's a reason why they didn't call me back. But I noted that there was a fan in there in the actual head,
Yeah.
and so I didn't have a chance to use it. But I thought at the time this was very clever. I would assume that this would come in handy in warm situations. Is this standard among all mascot outfits? Some sort of
negative.
No. So you're just sweating buckets.
Sweating buckets.
Oh man,
it's like doing. How do I phrase this to the fans? It's like doing a combination of hot yoga and a sauna. So,
oh man,
yeah, it's a little bit of both. But to be honest with you, though, the longer you do it, the more you don't even think about it. Like, I can be out there doing a 35, 40-minute appearance, running around, jumping around, playing street hockey on blacktop, and I wouldn't even notice it until I got back to my truck and I took everything off, and I'm like, whew.
So it's almost a relief when you're doing home games, because at least it's cold in the arena.
There's a reason why I don't do baseball anymore.
Okay,
okay. So I guess that's a good time.
Let's get into you. So, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Chicago, Illinois. I started skating when I was about 3, and I started skating or playing actual, competitive hockey when I was 4 or 5. And
Did you have dreams of becoming a pro hockey player?
Of course.
Yeah,
you grow up.
You
grew up. Hockey back then was still huge in Chicago. Chicago, East Coast, North Midwest. You got Minnesota, Wisconsin. It's huge. There's ponds. I mean,
Sure.
in New Jersey, I think it's tough. I mean, in the north side of Jersey is the only time where, I mean, it really gets cold enough or the ice gets frozen. So a lot of, when you live down by the city or down in this area in Hudson County and Essex County and Morris County and all that, I mean, there's some ponds that freeze, but not, I mean, in Chicago, they turn grass reservoirs into ice hockey rinks in the wintertime. I mean, it's a way of life. I mean, it's nowhere. I wouldn't say it's nowhere near a way of life like it is in Canada, but it's definitely
religion in Canada.
Yeah, it's religion
for many people.
Yeah, exactly. But it's still taken very serious in Chicago. And so I grew up playing. My brother grew up playing. He was a little bit older than I was, but like we grew up playing, single A, double A youth hockey, and then when I was about 9, I became a AAA hockey player, and I played AAA all the way up until I was 16.
So very competitive.
Very competitive. I mean, yeah. For some people who are out there, AAA hockey is associated with. I think it's called on the East Coast Tier 1. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's the highest level of youth
AAA
hockey.
means you're getting serious about.
Yeah, it's the
looking at the next level.
Exactly. Yeah. It's the highest level of youth hockey.
What position did you play?
I was a center.
You were a center. Okay.
I was a center. But
so what happened later in life? You're playing AAA, then what?
I took a nasty cheap shot, fractured my elbow, and that was it.
How many years
16
into
years
contact
old.
was this? Okay, so
16.
This was
I was in the midst of. I had just gotten done with. I was selected to play in U15 national camp at Ferris State University, and I was top. Paul Stasny was my roommate.
Really?
Yeah, Paul Stasny was my roommate. El Montoya was my goalie growing up.
Wow.
Mike Brown used to play for the
you
Maple
got some good
Leafs
connections
and Ducks.
there.
Yeah, there's some guys that played in Europe. I think it just comes with like the territory again. I mean, it's a hotbed for hockey. Hockey's huge in the Midwest, so it's not that uncommon that somebody down the line either played with or played against somebody in the league. I mean, TJ Hensick, who used to play for Colorado, he was from Michigan. We played against each other like my whole childhood growing up. I mean, there's a bunch of other guys. Matt Hensick or Hunwick. Sorry, Matt Hunwick.
Matt Hunwick, yeah.
Hunwick was another guy I played. I mean, anyway, so like hockey was huge in and my brother the same way. My brother finished second in nationals at U18. He went on to play juniors in the NAHL, and then he played college at a D3 school in Wisconsin. So hockey's huge in our family. But
so after this hit,
I was a junior national golfer as well.
Oh wow!
So I actually went on to college and played golf. I was a
How
golfer.
Stereotypical.
Yeah,
a hockey
right?
player that likes to play golf. Wow.
Yeah. So
it's really funny. Like it's draft season right now, right?
Exactly.
And you're reading these profiles of all of these potential draft picks, and like 9 times out of 10, their hobbies are, oh, I like to play golf. Really?
Yeah.
You like to
Shocking,
play golf?
shocking.
Wow.
Your off season's in the summer, and you
Nolan
like
Patrick likes to play golf. I did not see that coming.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you got pretty high up on golf as well.
Yeah, I was varsity golfer, sophomore, junior, senior in high school, and then when golf in Chicago, it's a fall sport. So when that was over, I'd play spring tournaments around the Midwest and a little bit on the East Coast, and then I went to college and played small Division II school just outside Chicago. And it's actually it's so weird how like things happen for a reason, right? So if I would have continued to play hockey, I mean, who knows? I mean, nobody knows, right? And if something happens and you have to suddenly stop doing something, you don't know 3 years down the road if I don't know, drafted or played in juniors or whatever the case may be. But that's actually because that happened and because I continued golf instead of hockey and I went to college where I went to college is actually why I became a mascot.
So let's talk about the mascot end of it. So
Sure.
Do you remember ever being enamored with the mascot as a kid? Was it ever a thing growing up?
I'm actually deadly afraid of clowns.
Really?
So like people who are like dressed up
Interesting.
and all that was
No
not
Stephen King's It for you? Nothing
Yeah,
like
no,
that?
that's actually what did it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I feel like that's a lot of
like
people's...
a sibling terror. My brother
Yeah.
sat me down and made me watch this movie that I was like 3, like
3 years old.
something like 3 or 4. Like I don't know
Oh,
I don't know
man.
when that movie came out.
That'll scar you.
I mean, it had to be early mid '80s, right? So,
So you hate clowns.
oh, not a big fan of them. Still to this day, not a big fan of them.
But watching sports growing up, you must have seen your fair share of mascots. Did any of your
the
AAA
Hawks never
teams have
had one.
mascots?
No, I mean the Hawks never had one
Yeah.
growing up, and I'm a White Sox fan, not a Cub fan. So, I mean, the
So
White
your
Sox
teams, you weren't really
no, they
surrounded
didn't have
with
them.
mascots.
I mean, the White Sox didn't get one until I think the late '90s, early millennium, and the Cubs
Interesting.
just got one 2 years ago.
Yeah. I was
And
surrounded
Benny
by
the Bull.
mascots.
I mean, Benny the Bull wasn't really even that common until I don't know, 98 maybe, 99. So
So it wasn't a thing. It
wasn't
wasn't
a
like
thing,
It
and
wasn't like you fell in love with the mascots at first sight.
well, and to be honest with you too, like growing up, playing, I was a catcher in baseball too. I mean, I was playing travel baseball. I was playing golf. I was playing travel hockey. I mean, I didn't really have time to go to many sporting events or live events as a kid because I spent a lot of time playing sports.
So you did all these sports. You decide that you're not going to pursue the professional route.
Correct.
Then take me in that moment. Then what happens next? Do you want to stay in sports? You were trying to find an
Yes,
angle to stay in sports?
I was a sports management major in college.
Okay.
So I'm like, I always want.
What did you think the job would be then coming out of college?
Just always having like kind of a creative mind and always kind of taking a second look at things, almost like a back end type look at marketing or advertising. I always wanted to get in like sports marketing was like my thing.
Okay,
I was like,
cool.
I really want to do this.
And did you want to stay in Chicago, like maybe for one of the the Blackhawks? That was like the dream job.
I mean, obviously, yeah. I mean that was my dream team. Was obviously besides watching the Bulls in the '90s, but
Who's better, Jordan or LeBron?
Come on,
Is
man.
that even a loaded question
on,
for a
man.
guy who grew
Come
up in
on.
Chicago?
Come on, I mean, LeBron puts baby powder on his hands, but I believe a guy in the '90s did that way before Jordan was or LeBron was even relevant. But I mean, do I really need to go there? 6 rings? Do I really need to go there? Six for six.
People from Chicago
6 for
that
6.
question.
6 for 6, and the only 2 years they didn't make it is because he decided to play baseball because he was so bored with being that good at the game. I mean, do you want me to keep going or?
I think we got what we needed there. That's the soundbite we needed. All right, so you sports marketing.
Yes.
Wanted to stay in Chicago. So what happened next?
So I was another little tidbit. I was a hip hop dancer.
I heard about this.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got into.
So when did that come into your life?
Oh, I don't know. My mom was a theatrical dancer. She did jazz and modern type dance and stuff. So I don't know if it was. I
Was
never.
your father an athlete? Like, how did the athlete gene come in?
Actually, there's a distant cousin. My mom's second cousin is actually. God, I always forget his first name. His last name is Wilson. Was a catcher for the Mariners back in the '90s. Okay. So I don't know if it's that or, my uncle, my mom's brother was a really good catcher in baseball, and I mean my parents were. I mean they played sports, but they weren't like college athletes. So it was actually kind of weird that all 3 of their kids played college sports. So it's yeah, it was. I don't know. It's just kind of always been there. I mean, my grandfather was really big, and he was a really good, successful baseball coach in the city of Chicago. So,
Did the hip hop dancing and sports go concurrently, or did hip hop come after sports, or
it just kind of came after. Like,
It came
yeah,
afterwards?
like
Okay.
when I retired. When I stopped playing hockey, I didn't retire, but when I stopped playing
Your
hockey,
illustrious career in AAA, yes.
Yeah, my amazing career. No, no. When I stopped
like
playing,
those dads that
yeah.
like they sit their kids down, but like back in my day, I played AAA hockey for the Oakville Rangers. Man, I was good. Yeah, that'd be me when I have kids.
Yeah, no. When I have kids, I'm definitely going to be standing in the corner on the opposite side of the rink, having nothing to do with parents in the stands. That's my father used to scorekeep. He used to never.
Oh, really?
He used to never sit in the stands. He's like, I want nothing to do with it. I just want to scorekeep and
Get away from the hockey dads and moms. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But no, so yeah, I was. I don't know. Like I just kind of.
Everyone's hearing squeaking, by the way. These chairs are really squeaky. I think we
They're
need
new.
to work on these.
They're new.
All right.
I think they're new, and I just don't think they're worn in yet.
So we're wearing them in.
We're
on this
breaking them in.
podcast.
That's what we're doing.
Yes,
yeah,
that's right.
I've literally, and you guys can't see it. I tried to change like 3
You
chairs.
did. You stood up, held the mic in the air, and switched chairs to no avail. All of them are squeaky.
Exactly.
We apologize for the squeak. Anyway,
That's okay.
I cut you off.
That's okay. Yeah, no, I don't. I honestly, I don't know. To this day, like, I don't know what I was. I don't know if I was maybe at a high school dance and I was dancing and I just kind of like I watched videos.
So hip hop dancing, is it break dancing? Is it what is it like?
I mean,
what
in
was
my
the
30s,
aspiration
man?
like?
It's not like spinning on my head back then. It's more of like footwork, pop and lock,
Footwork, okay.
you know, type stuff. I mean, I could do jazz and modern and all sorts of types of dance.
You're talking to a guy who, you know, the movie Hitch. Remember that where
Yeah,
Will Smith is teaching Kevin James.
Q-tipping it?
That's it. Or like and that scene where Will Smith is teaching Kevin James to dance, and he's
Stay
like,
in your
"Look,
box.
stay in the box, have the hands at your hips,
Don't go outside.
Snap your fingers and
Don't
then
go
1,
outside.
2, 1,
Yeah.
2. That's
Yeah,
me.
Yeah, just stay in your box. You're
I
fine.
look completely acceptable in the fundamentals. Yes, that's right.
So
So you're dancing.
Yeah, I was dancing.
You got
I
the
was
moves.
dancing in high school, and I used to just watch videos, and I was just, I don't know, I was always just kind of enamored with that type of dance, that type of music. I loved hip hop music.
What year would this be? Like, who would be the
like
big acts? right now?
Tupac, Biggie. I mean,
Okay, so like the mid '90s kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Okay.
definitely. I mean, I was like, I was like 12 years old, 13 years old. I mean, yeah, like mid late '90s. I loved it.
Cool.
Run DMC, all that stuff was great. Still listen to that stuff to today. But fast forward, I was in college, just out doing my thing. Studies are over, out doing my thing at night, and I was a sports management major, and a couple girls who were classmates of mine and friends of mine. Their mascot, they were working for a minor league baseball team at the time called the Joliet Jackhammers. Minor
What
league,
a name!
minor league, independent, like not even affiliated with a team. It's like it was in our town, our college town.
What was the logo? Was it a jacket?
It was like an aggressive looking jackhammer. The colors
Like
were
an
orange,
animated,
like an
come-to-life
animated
jackhammer?
come to life. Yeah,
I gotta look this up online. This sounds
yeah,
amazing.
you need to. It was the Joliet Jackhammers, but the costume, whose name was Jammer, was created by a man by the name of Dave Raymond, who is the original Philly Fanatic. So the costume was basically the same costume, tweaked here and there, but basically the same costume, only it was blue instead of green. Anyway, so their mascot decided to leave and go from minor league to pro, and he's now actually still currently with the Chicago Bears. And so they asked if somebody could, they were asked at the time, like, they're looking for a mascot, so they just approached me, and they said, we've been
Based
out
off of the dancing, you were impressive.
dancing,
Okay.
and I guess just maybe just having like an outgoing kind of personality.
What was
More
your
of an
first reaction to this?
I was like, how much does it pay?
Okay, fair.
Right? Because I'm in college.
Sure.
I'm playing golf in college. I'm on the road playing golf, but when I'm home, I'm going to be doing events for them and stuff. Like, okay, like what does this entail? And they said, we'll pay you $200 to do a game. And I was like, $200 in college. I mean, that's Wednesday night dollar beers. It's like $1 million.
All right.
I was like, all right, sweet, yeah, whatever. I got to just dress up and dance around, and that's it. Like, I never thought about it. Never thought about mascotting before.
At that moment, you became a professional mascot with that one ask. So you were dancing, they saw you, they were impressed, and then
I jumped in suit, I did a game, and by the third game, the owners asked if I could do it full time.
Wow.
What
did you?
And I was like, I can't do it full time, obviously, because I'm still in school. So I told them, I said, I will do events, I will do any games as long as it does not conflict with my studies or my college golf, because I was getting a scholarship to play golf, so I couldn't
So the Jackhammers, were they a baseball team?
They were.
They're a baseball team. Okay, so before your first game, how did you prepare, or did you prepare at all?
Did not prepare at all.
You just you figured I will have this. I got this. I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, I know baseball, right? I played it, so I understand that there's a half inning, full innings. I understand what the lingo is for baseball, right? So it's minor leagues. There's no camera breaks. You don't have to worry about like breaking away for commercial or anything, right? I mean, you just got to make sure that you're on the field and off the field in the time that you need to be on the field or off the field for promotions and so forth.
Right. What was the, like, were you with people? Was there somebody?
Yeah,
like
somebody with me.
Somebody with you?
Now, the thing was, though, this is where, it did get a little scary at one point, because the thing is that Jammer's in the back seat of this, like, pickup truck. He's, like, in the bed of the truck. That's how he gets announced every game, is he takes a huge lap around the outside, around the warning track, and they forget to tell me that it has to go over the visiting bullpen as it's coming up third base side. Well, pitching mounds in the bullpen are just like the pitching mounds on the field. There's a little bit of a lip, and they didn't tell me that I had to prepare. So I'm like waving.
You didn't brace yourself?
I did not brace myself. I'm like waving, like doing my thing, and they hit this bump at like 15 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour, and I just went flying in the back of the bed. I just fell down. And I remember them telling me, now the Philly Fanatic.
Welcome to the Jackhammers.
Exactly, like welcome to your first gig. So I don't know if people out there, they're probably they know about the Philly Fanatic, and he has this thing with his snout where he blows out like a party favor almost.
Okay.
So I remember laying on my back, and I have this straw in my mouth, and the only thing I could think of is just blowing the straw. So like I'm laying on my back, and the mouth is up, and I just blow into the straw that's in my mouth, and it's like a party favor just comes shooting out of the tongue. That's the only thing the fans could see is like the tip of my mouth and like a party favor coming out. And
That's
I'm just
hilarious.
Like, this is the only thing I can remember of the situation right now. So I like scramble around, I get up, and I just, finish off, do my thing, and yeah, and then so that lasted.
So how'd you feel after the first game? Did you instantly say, wow, this is something I would love to pursue? Or did you just think at the time, this is good side money?
So at the time, I'm just thinking like, oh, this is side money, whatever. I mean, I get to go to minor league baseball games. I get to, hang out with, I'm hanging out in the dugout with pro ball players. It's pretty cool, And
you're still in college. You're still
golfing.
golfing.
In college, still golfing, still, finishing my major. And,
Okay.
and then my brother got a job working for a United Hockey League team in the U-Haul, if anybody remembers that.
Wow. Man. Okay.
For the Chicago Hounds. Could have been something great, except for the fact that on opening night, they forgot, in a brand new arena in the Sears Center in Hoffman Estates, Illinois, they forgot that there was a figure skating competition the night before. So if anybody knows about the ice temperatures, it needs to be softer.
Oops.
Yeah. Forgot to turn the dial back to hockey.
Probably not the best game to watch.
No. Couldn't even watch it, actually, because the game was canceled.
Yeah.
Their first ever home opener was canceled.
That's great.
Yeah, and it was Megaphone night.
What does wonders for
Yeah,
ticket sales?
It was plastic Megaphone night, too. So 6,000 megaphones ended up on the ice because they couldn't freeze the ice in time. So that lasted a year. Wow. That was it. So I was doing that. I was doing the U-Haul team, the Chicago Hounds.
Wait. Fill the gap, though. So after the third game of the Jackhammers.
I did that for about a year.
You did that for a year, and then the Chicago team came around. So you're still doing the mascot thing.
Exactly. So about April, May,
okay.
I'm doing Jackhammers.
And you're still in college at this point
still
with
in
the
college,
Chicago team?
Still in college. And then I get to the next fall, and I'm doing the Chicago Hounds in the fall and winter.
For the second season?
For the first season.
For the first season.
And I'm just doing events this is still in the first year of doing the Jackhammers. Right?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So I'm doing two teams at once right now.
Wow, okay.
Doing events for the Jackhammers, doing games and events for the Hounds. No office work, nothing yet, just in costume. That's basically
Is that common among mascots that
minor
are coming
league.
up? Minor league
Sure.
is common? Okay.
Sure. Yeah, minor league does not have many pro, full-time, running a brand, running anything type of. It's basically a guy in a suit, one or two guys.
Okay.
Consistency. They try to get as consistent as possible with one guy, but, they usually have other part-time jobs or a full-time job, and somebody else has to fill in because they're not available or whatever the case may be. Doing in the middle of the first season, so the first season went on for the Chicago Hounds, but in the middle of the first season, the Chicago Slaughter was an AFL 2 team that was going into the arena, an Arena Football League 2 team. Didn't have a mascot. Needed a mascot. Well, they were at the Chicago Hounds game one night, basically threw a business card in my suit and said, give us a call. Basically during the thing. So I called them, took the job. I was doing 3 teams at once within my first 2 years of mascotting. Yeah.
Everything happens for a reason. That sounds exactly like.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
so
if
you
I
went
didn't
from 0 to 3 in a year.
In a year.
Wow.
A year and a half. Yeah.
Okay.
And then just kind of started doing appearances around the city with Chicago Bulls, Chicago Wolves mascot, Chicago White Sox mascot, Chicago Bears mascot.
As a fill-in kind of thing?
No. It's like doing appearances around the city, like 5Ks or charity walks or breast cancer walks or fairs, festivals.
As which
like
mascot?
me being in costume, but working the same event as like the Chicago Bears guys.
Same.
There,
okay, I see. So
or
they were also there.
Yeah. So.
And how receptive were they? Like, were they?
They're great. I mean, they were a little like, okay, that's a minor league guy, like whatever, like we're gonna do our thing.
So is it like that's? I guess my question is like, in media there are some people who are very welcoming if they're established media types.
Sure.
They'll easily mentor you or give you advice and stuff.
Yeah.
But then there's other people that just won't have the time of day for you at all. Like, what's the mascot community like in that sense?
I mean, for the most part, it's pretty welcoming. It could get a little. I mean, the thing that like. It's tough. So as welcoming as you want to be, you have to also understand that like this is our job at the pro level. Like this is our brand. This is what feeds our families. This is what like this is what we do for a living. We do branding, we do marketing, but we also are in costume and give our best at every time we're there. It's the same guy. You know, it's not a fill-in. So this is our livelihood. This is our job. This is, like I said. So sometimes when you go do events, you know, I mean, when there's minor league and college guys who find out that there's a pro guy that's going to be there or whatever, I mean, they want to impress them. I mean, it's like, it's
Did you have that mentality when you were going to
I kind of
these
did. I
events?
mean, I went through it. I mean, I didn't want to show these guys that like I was just some guy who's been doing it for a year and a half and that's it. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I definitely want to, like, you know, I don't want to show them up, but I also want to show them like, hey, like I can perform just as good as you. And it happens, and I get it. But there's been instances where like I've had to put some guys in check that, you know, took it a little over the line, and you know, you just got to remind them that this is what I do for a living. I can't be going out there getting sideswiped and my ACL blown out. Like, that's you know, that's not good.
So you're doing these 3 gigs.
Yeah.
At what point did you say, you know what, this could be a viable career option for me?
Me or the Chicago Wolves mascot and myself became really close, became good buddies. We lived
You guys met at an event?
At an event.
Okay.
Found out we were about 10 minutes from each other back home, where he was living and where I grew up. He was originally from Indianapolis, and he was their full-time guy, running their brand in the AHL, which is it's kind of rare at the minor league level to have a full-time guy who runs the marketing, runs the branding, runs like creative and everything for their mascot. But he was doing it, and he decided that he was in the pros and decided he wanted a little bit of more of a desk type job, wanted to kind of get out of the performing aspect as much. So that's why he took a job with the Chicago Wolves. Missed being at that pro level, like only a year there. And so he's like, hey, I'm leaving. I'm going somewhere else. I'm not going to name where, but he's like, I'm going somewhere else. I'd like for you to come in and take my role for me. Like, you know.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I kind of got mentored by him a little bit.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. So then that's how I ended up at the Chicago Wolves, American Hockey League.
So that was the first pro.
It was the first pro full-time. I retired from Chicago Hounds, Chicago, Joliet Jackhammer, Chicago Slaughter. I gave up all those, and I turned full-time, had a full-time desk job, starting to run the brand and running a school program and all that for the Chicago Wolves. Skates the Wolf is his name.
Skates the Wolf.
Yeah.
And by this point, you had graduated college, or you hadn't.
So
Okay.
I don't know how public this is going to go, but I had not done an internship yet.
Okay.
And so their thing was, you can't graduate until you do an internship. Well, I'm like, I just got a full-time job. Like, why do I have to do an internship? Some of my boss just signed on as like my mentor.
Got you. Okay.
I was getting paid to work.
But it was
This
still
was
an
before
internship.
it was paid internships.
Okay. Got you.
So I was getting
It was a pay. Yeah. It was an arrangement. Okay. So
Yeah.
the arrangement worked. You got your degree.
got my degree and everything like that.
So then, okay. So
I was
you
with
have
the
this job. Okay.
I was
So
with the Chicago Wolves for 7 months.
For 7
And
months.
I saw this job open up. And
With the Devils?
With the Devils.
Okay.
And I put in for it, sent out my video resume. And, yeah.
What was the interview process like?
So I sent my video resume. I got a call. I was actually getting ready to do a preseason game with the Chicago Wolves. And I was out to dinner with my boss and 2 other people I work with. And I took an hour-and-a-half phone conversation away from the table. I come back, and they're like, where are you going? I was like, well, I'm interviewing currently right now with the New Jersey Devils. So I did a phone interview about an hour-and-a-half, 2 hours. And then I left that thinking, okay, never really done an interview. So I was like, I didn't really know what to think. Like, I thought I answered all the questions right. And
the job was for what you're currently doing, like not
Correct.
only being the mascot, but also
to
the
run
sports
it,
marketing.
to be the full-time, to be a full-time professional mascot.
With job behind the scenes, or this was just for
With
the mascot?
Everything.
Okay.
So when someone's
okay.
a professional mascot full-time, they're the guy in the costume, or guy or woman in costume.
Yeah.
And but really only in costume about 35% of my job. A lot of my job consists of helping out with the grassroots community marketing,
Okay, yeah.
branding, creative, kind of figuring out different ways to build the brand.
So just a side tangent here. So that is typically the arrangement for any mascot, any professional mascot is not only are you wearing the suit, but you have the behind the scenes responsibilities, like you
Correct.
just said. Okay.
Correct. And
Gotcha.
and some job titles are just different. Like that's my job title. My job title is I run all of I don't want to say I run because I have a very, very awesome support staff here with everybody that I have to work with or work around. It's a great team. It's a fantastic team. So I can't say it's all me because it's not. I have a great support group here. But I do work with the creative department. So like if there's any sort of creative going out, web design, we're celebrating NJ's Mascot weekend like we had talked about previously, like something like that. Or I also have to work with the social media team because NJ's got a voice. So I kind of do about 90% of the social media. The other 10% is just if it's just getting too busy, like draft time or live games or whatever. Like we got to make sure that there's stuff's going out. So but we work together and we decide on what the language is going to be for different things that we're promoting. We got to make sure that we're on the same page with let the team promote something first, and then I come in on the back and then kind of give NJ's little because NJ has a voice. It's a different kind of voice. It could be a little not, I don't want to say raw, but NJ's a character. He can have a little bit of a different way to say something other than just Devil's Take, hypothetically speaking.
Doesn't have to be as professional as
Say
the
I
Devils
don't want to say
account.
anything with this year, but like say next year, like last year, if the Devils had the number 1 pick, they were like, hey, Devils take Austin Matthews or whatever the case may be.
Well, that's a big assumption. If
Yeah.
the Devils were to take Austin Matthews in that draft. I'm kidding.
But what I mean is like instead of just saying like Devils take number 1 overall Austin Matthews from Arizona, whatever the case may be, it would be more of like a welcome to the team, Austin, or like something like that. Like so you have to work with the social media team. You have to work with like I said, the creative team. You have to work with the grassroots because we do a lot of youth hockey clinics and street hockey clinics, and so there's a lot that goes into my job title. Some of the other guys I know, for instance, like they do their mascot duties, but they also run like their fan development team. Like so, there's like their ice girls or their ice team, like shovel crew. Like there's some people who the job titles are a little
right.
different.
So what I was getting at was, I guess, the percentage of somebody who is simply wearing the suit is smaller than the percentage of people who are not only wearing the suit but have a role behind the scenes in the organization as well.
Correct.
Okay.
So it's just different.
Just different, whatever the backstage role is.
Whatever the
okay.
backstage. For
That's
the most part, it's the same thing.
Right.
But there are a couple things here and there that might be just a little bit different.
Okay. So you take this interview. It's an hour and a half on the phone. So what happens next? How'd you feel about it?
I felt great. Like I felt like I answered questions correctly. I asked questions. What they were thinking or what they're looking at. And it was just a great conversation. I felt.
So how much time passed before you heard
About
back?
a week and a half,
Yeah.
2 weeks.
And they called back and said you got the job, or?
Well, they called back and I had to fly here.
Oh, so they flew you in. Okay,
So,
now you're in person.
It's a gamble. So you fly, but if you don't get the job, you don't get expensed. So you're
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I know that.
A lot of them are like that actually.
Oh, okay.
Or
Interesting.
sometimes, I don't really know how the case is. I've only really interviewed one place, so I can't really say anything.
Fair.
But I felt great. I felt good. I felt like I can nail this thing. So I flew in at like 8 a.m, got picked up, did a 5 hours long of interviews with different people throughout the day.
Oh.
And then
Did you have to wear the suit?
I did not.
No?
No, I did not. And then 5 hours later, I was on a flight back home to Chicago. A week and a half later, I was offered a job. Bought my first car.
What was that moment like?
It's crazy. You just want to say yes right away.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, whoa, let's, Then Dad comes in and he's like, all right, well, this is great, but you're a 21-year-old kid who's or barely 22.
That's how old you were when you got the job. Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And you're gonna move across country to a state you have no idea what you're doing.
Had you been to New York before?
No.
Have you been to Jersey
Well,
before?
I've been to Boston and I've been to upstate New York for hockey tournaments, but not like the city.
You've never been to Manhattan, never been to Newark?
First time I saw the ocean, I was in costume.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So a lot of firsts in my career, but that's
Yeah.
one of them.
I was going to say, well, I mean, this is a unique career, right? So it takes you a
Yeah.
lot of random places. So
Yeah.
you get the call, you have the job, sign the papers.
Yeah.
When was your first game?
The opening of this building. God, was it October?
So you started with Prudential Center.
Well, yeah, because the Prudential Center was on. The Devils were on a 2-week road trip because the league allowed them to get the building ready.
Right.
So they were on a 2-week road trip when I actually accepted the job.
Do you, when the Devils are on the road, do you travel? I mean, you don't travel and wear
I do
the
not
suit
travel.
in the opposing team's building, but you don't travel.
Only if like I'm doing a Mascot game and it just so happens they're playing the Devils,
Got you.
which has never happened in my career.
Okay.
But I've done Mascot games with other mascots that are there and their team is playing and they're there to celebrate the Mascot game. But yeah, never in my career.
Okay. So take me into that first game. You have the job. They come back from the 2-week road trip. They're playing their first home game. Were there any exhibition games? I guess it was some. It wasn't in Prudential.
I don't remember.
Okay, so the first game you were wearing the suit.
Yeah,
So any preparation go into that?
I threw up.
Really?
Yeah.
In the suit?
No. No. No.
I have to deal with this all game.
No.
You threw up. You were nervous.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Heck
Man.
yeah. The biggest crowd I ever did before that was like 3,500.
And this is like
Sold out.
Yeah.
Opening night. Ottawa Senators.
Oh man. So what was the leading up to it?
I
Did
remember.
you have to train? Like, did they give you any?
I just
training
remember like I was
to
always an athlete. I mean, I was always in a gym.
They
I'm
knew.
in a gym now. Like I always like wanted to work out. I always want to be in, healthy shape and whatnot. So, I walked out. I remember this vividly. I walked out. I watched warm-ups. I'm stretching, getting ready. And I take a step and I walk in and I look around. And I'm just like, holy cow, like this place is packed right now. I turned around and threw up in the hallway in a trash can.
Were you in the suit? Like, did
No.
you have to put that-
No.
It would have been funny if it was.
I
Like,
was just
gotta
saying, like,
move the head
I
up.
mean, like, before every game, like, I stretch and warm up.
Yeah.
In, like, double stuff. So I have, like, jumpsuits and stuff like that.
What is
shorts.
your typical pregame ritual?
I mean, I was a hockey player growing up, so I got some pretty crazy superstitions.
You have the superstitions,
Yeah, I put my left shoe on before my right. Every event, every appearance I've ever done, I always put my left foot on before my right. I say
Interesting.
foot, I mean shoe.
Shoe, yeah.
When I come up to the concourse, this is actually a really odd one. When I come up to the concourse, I come up through section 12. There's a staircase there above one of the entrances. The escalator.
Okay, yeah.
There's a Mrs. Field stand right there. Sometimes it's a Dipping Dot stand. It's usually a Mrs. Field stand. I touch the corner of the stand every game.
Really?
With my right hand.
Oh.
Yeah.
When
Just
did
kind of
that
like
start?
I remember doing it. I don't know. I just remember doing it in one of my seasons, and we had a great year. I think it was. Yeah, and so I always do it. I touch the left.
That's cool.
The left corner of the Mrs. Field stand in section 12.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a neat little tidbit. I like that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, so you.
God, I triple, quadruple check my bag before every event still. Because just the odd
You have
chance
a
that I
backup.
show up at an event, I get dressed in my truck, and I'm like, I don't have a left glove. So
Has that ever happened?
I brought 2 right-handed gloves one time. It's just odd because the way the glove works is that on the back of the gloves there's padding, and there's not padding on the inside of the glove. So there's padding added to the back of like my hands.
Okay.
So I just had to wear it the other way around because I mean it's 5 fingers, so it doesn't matter. But it was just really uncomfortable, and it was a hospital visit, so it wasn't like I was gonna have to be super active.
I imagine like that first game though. Going back to the first game, like obviously people don't know that you're starting out. All they see is NJ Devil, the mascot they know and love.
Well, and what's been
So
crazy,
the familiarity is built in.
well, the familiarity of the costume is right.
Yeah.
But before me, I think the longest somebody did it before me was 2 years.
Right.
So it's not really enough to really, unless you're a full-time 44 game going fan, you're not really going to notice.
So there was a lot of building like a fan base for NJ as well.
Yeah, definitely.
There was.
I mean, there's definitely I wasn't handed the costume and say this is the manual, this is the character, this is what it is. It was more of they were like, make it your own, and now it's like awesome, great.
That's cool.
I know exactly what I'm gonna do because I've been thinking about this for 3.5 weeks before I actually had to get in costume for the first time. By the time I took the job and the 2 weeks of whatever and getting out here, and I mean, I knew exactly what I was going to do. It's the devil.
So, like, I mean, working with you this past season, there's a structure to it. It's like a well-oiled machine with the events team and where you are and what you're doing. So you basically developed that game plan for the Mascot.
Correct. So I work with our game presentation staff. So they write up a script.
You're here in this one break. You
This
have
time
the
out, I gotta be
drum.
here.
You have
Then I gotta go do a couple suites, and then while I'm in the suite, if the crowd needs to get into it, I'll bang the drum. I'll stand on top of the ledge in the suite. My
you're
assistant,
making
my assistant
real-time
has
decisions.
my assistant has my drum with me every minute of the game.
One thing I did notice that you do is, I don't know if this is a superstition or if it's just for audio, is you'll like sort of pitter patter the drum a little bit before you start the chant.
I just don't want to give everybody a heart attack.
Oh, so you're warning them.
I'm warning them that, hey,
You're
it's gonna get loud in 2 seconds.
Okay, because you start soft and you go to it's almost like a.
I bang it like
and
once or twice, 3 times, just to kind of. It's just like a doot, like, hey, like I'm here, I'm on top of a platform right behind you. It's gonna get loud in 2 seconds.
How
Like,
very courteous of you, NJ. That's very courteous to alert the people in front
that's
of you.
only because I had a season ticket holder, an older season ticket holder about. Oh, I don't know. I started incorporating the drum in like 2010, and she turned around, and she's awesome, and I love her to death, and I actually know her out of costume, and she said, "You scared the expletive out of me," and so I said, from now on, I'll give a little tap to kind of warn the fans I'm in the section.
Right.
I mean, when I run down, people know I'm there. They see my drum, but it's when I'm on the little platforms and stuff behind the fans that they can't see me. That I just want to give them a little warning.
It's not easy for you to travel from one place to another because there's families with kids that'll stop you. And I have to say, you are fantastic with children. It's like that's what stuck with me this season is the fact that like every kid gets a picture or a smile or an autograph or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because like they're going to remember that for years to come, which is like the best part of seeing that is the best thing.
Well,
You know what I mean?
Well, we have a.
Just take the compliment. You don't need to. That's all I need. Just to that.
Thank you.
That's all you need.
Thank you. But no, we have a motto here: is engage every fan.
Yeah.
And that's really what we try to live by. A couple of our values, and one of our values is to engage every fan and be agents of change. And that's what we try to do here. Is we try to. I mean, think about it. I mean, people are coming into this building, and they are releasing whatever they're doing in their normal life. They are throwing that out the window, and they are paying money to come get entertained. Whether it's by the players on the ice or it's by me in the stands, they are paying money to be entertained. And I love all my fans, whether they're opposing fans that just love me or they're kids that are just in love with NJ or adults that are in love with NJ. Whatever the case may be, like I want to be there to entertain as many people as I can. I mean, that's my job.
So let's talk about interactions with fans. I mean, I'm sure that you
Which teams do you want to talk about that I have the biggest problems with? Because
So
I'm sure the listeners know at least one of them.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well,
Yeah, it's about 5 miles away.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Actually,
To be honest with you, over my 10 years now, they are not the worst. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to tell you this because it's where you're from. The Toronto Maple Leaf fans
are the worst.
are the worst. fans.
Really? To you in Prudential
To
Center?
me.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. So what kind of chirping do you hear from opposing teams?
Wow, just you suck. The Devils are awful.
Typical stuff that you would say to any team. Okay.
like you can't if I'm throwing T-shirts, it's like, oh, you throw like my sister, and I want to just throw up signs. It's like, well, your sister must be a pro softball player because I throw pretty good. No, I mean, so you find here's a funny story. So, a quick story. I mean, everybody knows tragic. 2012, we lost to the Kings in the final, right? And it's I'm not trying to sound mad or anything, but I was gracious enough to be out there in LA. We were able to go out there. I did some stuff with KTLA, did some stuff with Bailey, their mascot, on news promoting the Stanley Cup and all that. So I brought my costume out there. We were doing some stuff. Brought NJ. We were doing things. And I mean, they had a bus that went around the arena that was like, join the bandwagon. I mean, they knew it. In 2012, 2008, 9, 10, like they were starting to get relevant with their players and they were starting to get good. And I mean, the fans were starting to come out, which is great for the game of hockey. Don't get me wrong. So, since 2012, we've seen when the Kings are in town, there's a little bit more fans than normal, than pre-2012 in our building. And one guy was just he was absolutely relentless. Just right above me in section, I know it like yesterday. It was like section 11 in the Zam tunnel. I mean, he's in the first row, and he's just yelling obscenities. He's just screaming, and it's just all towards me, not towards the Devils, towards the NJ itself. And I'm like, this guy doesn't know, like, this is what we do for a living. We entertain. So I'm like, I'll be right back. So I go into the Zam tunnel.
Zamboni tunnel.
Zamboni
Okay.
tunnel. I find a piece of paper. I write out, my biggest fan since 2012. I walk back to the Zam tunnel, and I start to turn the sign around, and there's like 4 fans that are Kings that are sitting like kind of by the glass, and they literally start laughing out loud, and they're like, this is going to be funny. And they were great with me. It was the one guy that was above me that was just awful. So I turn, and I just hold up a sign that says, biggest fan since 2012. And the whole section, 2 sections, just start dying laughing. Kings fans, Devils fans, everybody's laughing, everybody's pointing at this guy, and this guy just, he got up and he walked away. And the thing is like, you can say whatever you want to us. Like, I get it every game from an opposing fan. Like, this is like, you're not uncommon. So you have to find ways to, you never want to take it as a mascot. You never want to take that. You never want to diminish your brand. You never want to make your brand look like something happened.
How long did it take?
I don't want to get in.
No, I was going to ask this, though, just to put a bow on that. How long did it take for you to get comfortable finding good comebacks?
You're in New Jersey, New York. You don't have time.
So
it's gotta be right away.
Hit the ground running.
You got to figure it out quick, because if you don't, you're just going to stand there, no pun intended, with your mouth closed.
Right.
We don't talk, but you got to figure out ways to just get by it. I mean, there's Flyer fans, you just hold up, 1970, whatever, and you just hold up that many fingers, and they quickly sit down. They haven't won a cup since, what is it, 74 maybe?
Yeah, Broad Street Bullies.
I
Yeah.
don't remember, is it 74?
I think so.
Yeah. So you just kind of hold up 7-4.
Yeah.
You just find little things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, and they get it.
One thing I do appreciate that you do is if there's a family, like I remember one time, it might have been the last game of the season, there was a family of Devils fans, and one of them was a Ranger fan.
Yeah.
And the one kid was wearing a Devils shirt, the other one was wearing a Ranger shirt.
Sure.
Wants to take a picture with you.
Sure.
And I don't know if this is your move, but you literally took your hand,
Cover the logo.
covered the logo. It's like,
It's fine.
I'll take the picture with you, but
I
I'm
have
going
no
to cover the
problem.
logo.
I'm going to cover the logo.
I think that's clever. I thought that
I'm
was like,
not
this is a
gonna-
perfect way to diffuse the situation.
Yeah. And then, like, the kid as the kid's kind of walking away, you just kind of tap him on the shoulder, you put your hand out for a high five, and you just kind of tell the kid that, like, without saying anything, like, we could still be friends. You root for the other team, but you can still be friends.
We're all hockey fans at the end
We're
of the day.
all
Let's go.
hockey fans.
Okay, so tell me about the Mascot community a little bit, because
It's great.
It seems very tight knit. I remember there was
It is.
one game. Maybe it was the last game of this season, the last home game, where there were 6 or 7 mascots from other teams that weren't even playing in the game that came here.
So I had NJ's mascot celebration, and it's just kind of like these are the things that I was talking about earlier, where like I go and fly, and they'll fly me in to do a game with other NHL mascots, and
So this happens often.
oh yeah, no,
Okay.
I mean there's
How often are you flying to other arenas to do these mascot celebrations?
like I said before, it's all on scheduling. So
Okay.
so what they'll do is they'll fly them in, or I fly them in, and we do a game. We usually do an event. It's usually a 2-day thing. So you're not just there for the game. Like you usually do an event. Like we did a kids club skate. We did
That's
a
cool.
kids club and general public skate that just kind of something different, something new that fans can come out for, and meet other mascots, get autographs, get pictures. It's fun. And then during the game, it's the same thing. You incorporate some skits with some of the other guys, and it's just a different way to entertain.
It was just funny seeing the fans. Like I remember Nash was there, the Nashville Predators mascot, and it was funny because I was like right above his section, and it was like many fans were like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
This is the most random thing.
Exactly. So like, we did promote heavily that like there are going to be other mascots there, but like it's I mean for the most part, a lot of the fans were like, "Oh, thanks for coming." Like it was like we knew you were coming. That's why we wanted to get tickets. So we wanted our kids to meet other mascots, or adults wanted to meet other mascots, or whatever the case may be. It's just a different kind of fresh way to kind of lighten up a game a little bit. It's great. Like, we were able to play in the first intermission against a Mites on Ice team. You know, we played against a Mite hockey team. So it's like you got a bunch of mascots playing against a Mite hockey team. It's pretty funny.
Game ended tied at 1.
It was tied at 1.
That,
Yeah. I got booed in my own building, which was
why? What'd you do?
I scored.
Oh, you scored.
I
against
scored
How could
against
you do
an
that?
8-year-old.
Did you do huge selly too? You're like,
Oh, of course I
take that, you
sellied.
kids.
Oh, I sellied the crap out of it. Are you kidding me? Of course I did. Oh, I got booed in my own building.
It's pretty funny, actually.
But it was great. I mean, that's the part of entertainment, though. That's the best part. It was fun. It was awesome. I loved it. I loved every second of it.
What maybe All-Star Game is one of the answers here, but like what other events that happen every year do you look forward to as a mascot that are like really fun and you're
I'm going in 2 days. Mascot games.
The mascot games. Okay, tell me about that.
NJ gets he is invited for the 5th year in a row to perform in celebrity mascot games.
So what is that?
So celebrity mascot games, as quick as I can make this, it is
like the Mascot Olympics?
Yeah, kind of. So it's 20. It's 4 teams of 6, so it's 24 mascots. Right, I did the math correctly, right? Yeah, it's 24 mascots. Mostly professional between the 4 sports leagues. So NBA, MLB, NHL, and NFL. And then there's some college ones. You know, Florida Gators, UCF, USF, you know, the local Florida teams. And then they usually have like University of Nebraska or some other big mascot from like the college level will come in. And the easiest way I can explain it is medieval times-esque. So it's like it's at the Amway Center where the Orlando Magic play, and they put the floor down of the Solar Bears, or not the Solar Bears, the indoor soccer team, I think it is, that plays out of there, or lacrosse team, or somebody who uses the floor. I think it's lacrosse. It's not arena football, I don't think, because I don't remember seeing like dashes, or I think it's lacrosse or soccer that plays out of there.
And you guys do events in teams?
Yeah, so
cool.
we had a draft a couple weeks ago. NJ's a captain. So we did a draft, and I drafted my team. And what happens is, just like medieval times, when you come to the arena, you're directed to sit in different colors, sections of the 4 corners of the arena. And NJ obviously is the captain of the red team. And we do obstacle course, t-shirt toss contest, and dodgeball, dance-off. It's a series of events that is somewhat scripted, but, you know, it's all holds bar when it gets to the final event, which is the joust.
Oh, that's the big one.
It gets pretty intense.
Wait, you're actually hitting each other with
it's like the American Gladiators joust.
Aren't you worried that your head's gonna fall off or anything?
Well, all of our heads are pretty
sturdy, right?
Yeah, pretty sturdy, pretty clipped in with headgear and stuff. So.
Have you ever had a malfunction?
Yeah,
you have.
Chicago Slaughter, last game of the year. I came running out, did a back handspring, went to do a backflip.
And then
I hear and I'm like, uh-oh. The clip unclipped on its own.
Oh, no.
And the head came rolling off.
Oh, boy.
Good thing it was in the dark. Like, the spotlight just came off of me to go to the players for their entrance, so, like, you couldn't
No one really saw it? Okay.
I mean, you kind of did.
Is that like the cardinal sin? Like, if that were to happen?
Oh, that's like the worst thing.
That's like the worst possible thing that could happen.
That's the worst possible thing that could happen.
The inexcusable. Like, it's like swearing on live TV kind of thing. Like, as a broadcaster, that's like the...
Yeah. Or like a... God, I'm going to age myself a little bit. Like the Justin Timberlake, Janet Jackson...
The wardrobe malfunction at the Super Bowl kind of thing. Yeah,
like something like that, like a wardrobe malfunction.
Is there... So you've done other sports in your past. You've been with the Devils for a very long time. Are there any other sports that you're kind of like, that'd be cool to be a mascot there, or is hockey the thing? Hockey's the thing.
Love it. There's nothing.
This is the dream game.
There is nothing, and I mean nothing, like a Stanley Cup final game if you get the chance to get there.
Yeah.
It is amazing. It is one of the most electric things to be a part of, I guess, besides the Super Bowl. And I'm not trying to be biased. I'm really not trying to be biased, but. I mean, there's a reason why you don't champagne celebrate until you get the final trophy. I mean, there's no Eastern Conference celebration. That's not what we want. It's dynamic. It's electric. It's the fastest sport on. I mean, they're not even using their feet. I mean, they are, but they're using blades. Like, it's just like it's amazing what these guys can do nowadays. And I think that not only that, but just I mean, you saw it with Nashville and the way that city just totally got behind that
Did
team.
you talk to?
You don't see that anywhere else.
Did you talk to Iceberg and
Oh, yeah.
Nash in the finals? Like, what were their experiences?
I'm close
like?
with. I mean, I'm
I'm
close.
assuming it's a tight knit community, right?
Very tight knit. So outside of celebrity mascot games, where I'm going to see 5 or 6 of the other NHL guys and some of the other guys in the other leagues I know, All-Star game, we're all there, and it is. I mean, I've been to 4 or 5 of the other guys' weddings. Like it's.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, one of them, 2 of them are my best friends. Some of them. I mean, I only see them 4 or 5 times a year, but I mean, we're on the phone once a month talking what's going on, how's the kids, how's the family. Like it's close. I mean, because we know what we're going through. Everybody knows what everybody's going through.
Such a unique job, right?
It is. I mean, so I always do it like this. So let's just throw out round figures, right? So there's 120 sports teams, right? I mean, you got some leagues have 32, some have whatever. So 100, 30, 60, 90, 120, right? Of the 4 major sports leagues. Not every team has a mascot, so now you're down to like 100, 105. And of those 100 or 105, not all of them are full-time. So you're only looking at, between the 4 major sports leagues, probably 75 to 80 of us, or not even, maybe 70 out of the 120 that are running brands and living it every day. And,
How cool is that? I mean, it's
pretty cool.
Just the percentage probability of somebody being able to land a job like that versus how many people would love to be a mascot. I mean, that's right?
It's it's hard to explain. I mean, it's just because I don't really think about it like that. I think about it as, I mean, it's no different than, I mean, we're not on the Broadway level, but like, say the guy that's a leading role in Lion King, right? I mean, how many people want to have that job?
True.
It's tough, right? I mean, how many, there's not many Broadway musicals out there right now, right? And then to have the lead of the musical. It's pretty similar in the sense of like, there's not many people that want to do what we want to do, and the ones that do, there's just not that many jobs out there. So I guess it's cool if you think about it and lay it out like that, but I don't think about it like that. And a lot of the guys, I mean, there's a couple guys who think the head's bigger than they are, but that comes with anything now. It comes with any. I mean, if we're on the topic of athletics, right? Sports. I mean, it happens with all. I mean, there's some players out there that in whatever league are a little bigger than themselves, probably. At least they come off like that. I don't know if they are. I don't know them personally, but they come off like that to the media, right?
Yeah.
So
it happens everywhere.
It happens everywhere. I mean, it happens in any job.
know.
So I guess you just want to stay humble and just be like, I love what I do, and I'm grateful that I'm able to do what I do.
What I'm guessing Stanley Cup Finals. What other career highlights have you had?
2 SportsCenter commercials.
Cool. That's right. Elevator going up, down.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was. Yeah.
That took an hour and a half.
Tell me about that.
Oh.
Tell me about filming that. It's so funny because when I think about that commercial, NJ looked so serious, right?
Yeah,
it's like complete opposite to you at the game.
Yeah,
I was like,
I know.
wow, NJ is mean.
So the whole basis of SportsCenter, which is why I think it's brilliant, what those commercials are just awesome, and why it's like, this is SportsCenter, and that's their whole model at the end of the clip, is that no matter who's in the commercial, whether it's a character or a person or whatever, everybody's the same, right? So like characters, right? I mean, they're outgoing, they're boisterous, some guys are high flying, some guys are great dancers, some guys are this and that. When you're there in a commercial, though, you're a normal human being. It's just, instead of being a human, you are NJ Devil. So
it
like,
is a good commercial.
So in terms of like, if you watch their commercials in the background, when you see people getting faxes and people making copies or people on the phone, those are actual workers doing actual work. Like, they don't want, SportsCenter doesn't want it to come off as like it's something different. Like, this is ESPN's offices.
Who was the broadcaster?
Jay Harris.
Jay Harris was it? Okay.
And then Chris McKendry was in the other one.
Okay.
And
so you did 2.
I did 2.
I forget the other one. What was it? What was that one?
She comes down with a blanket and she's freezing, so she turns the heat up on the thermostat. And then there's a little paper underneath that says "Do not touch." And then on the left of the screen comes like the Penguins mascot, Iceberg.
Yeah.
He turns it down, and then I come in at the end
and
kind of look at the camera and kind of look back at the thermostat, and then it goes to blank. But yeah, I mean, so that I'm not trying to give away their commercials or anything like that, but
it was cool to be a part.
That's why they're awesome.
So it only took an hour and a half to film.
Brilliant. That one, the other one took a couple
Up,
hours. I mean, I was there Town car picked me up at like 6 o'clock or 5:30. I got there by 8. Had a game the night before, so I was exhausted. Got there at like 8. Was filming until 5. You know, got to meet some pretty cool people. Lou Holtz.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. So I think the Enterprise commercial.
The Enterprise with Marty.
Yeah. And then honestly, like, I mean, I've gone to 7 All-Star games. I've been able to, 7 All-Star games, Enterprise commercial, 2 SportsCenter commercials. I just did a Plymouth Rock commercial last year. I don't know. I mean, I honestly, like, I think the coolest part of my job, like, those things are great, but that's not what I do, and that's not why I love what I do, because I love to go do, like, the charity events and go do the hospital visits and go do, being able to let people release from their everyday life of what's going on and be able to allow me to entertain them is why I do what I do. The commercials are great, and the All-Star games when we get to meet the guys and get to see the guys and everything like that, it's going to be awesome. It's great.
What during the All-Star game, you also have mascot games there, right? Wasn't there a dodgeball game this year?
There was, yeah.
Did you win?
I did not. Yeah, I did not. I did not.
Which suit
did win broomball?
Which suit
though.
is the easiest to play dodgeball?
Probably
in,
mine.
I wonder? Yours?
Yeah.
Is yours?
I just got caught. I wasn't looking. I wasn't looking. I got caught. I got caught.
Let's talk about that before we wrap. Is the different suits around the league? Which suits would you say are the most cumbersome to wear? I feel like
mine.
The Leafs one, the Carlton Bear, would be pretty, because he's like really pear shaped, right? He's just large.
Carlton the Bear's got the easiest job in the world.
Really?
No, it's a joke. It's a joke we have with him. It's a joke we have with him.
Oh, okay.
It's like a behind the scenes joke that, like, he's a polar bear, and he plays the character well. Shuffles his feet, waves his hands. Doesn't really dance. It's what he does, but he's great at it. I mean,
he's great at being a polar bear.
I could never do what he does. Like, he's very good at what he does. He's very good at being a polar bear.
Okay.
Think about it. Polar bears are some of the biggest. I think they are the biggest bear in the world. I would think, right? Maybe the black bear, but like,
it's just being a polar bear sauntering around.
Yeah, just kind of like moseying around doing.
Yeah,
your
but
thing.
wait. I mean, I haven't seen too much of Iceberg, but like, I don't imagine Iceberg waddling like a penguin.
He doesn't waddle like a penguin, but his it's really funny. His celly when he scores is he slides on the ice like a penguin.
Okay, yeah, that's cool.
He runs and slides on the ice like a
okay.
penguin. Like, I mean, there's
cool.
There's different things here and there.
Which suit would you say is probably the most cumbersome? Or
I mean, mine's there, San Jose. I would say any one of them that is basically designed to be for hockey. Like, you can look and be like, that's a hockey mascot, because it's got the shin guards, the hockey pants, like a muscle suit top or something like that. More of a slender build.
Okay. So with the padding, that's definitely a hockey designed mascot.
Yes.
As opposed to
and there's a bunch of them. I mean, Washington, San Jose, myself, Bailey's like that a little bit. Wild Wing.
What about Yuppie? I would imagine Yuppie would be difficult.
Yuppie? It's actually pronounced Yuppie.
Oh, is it Yuppie?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
And the eyes at the end go up. It's like this whole.
Okay.
Yeah.
I apologize to all the Yuppie fans out there.
Yuppie is awesome. It's just, I'm sorry. It's awesome. He's got these big clown shoes, and when he walks, he kind of, so there's actually like an extra, like, I want to say probably like if he's like a size 11, his shoe is like a size 20.
Oh man.
So it's almost like having like duck feet. So at the end, like when he walks heel to toe, when he goes to toe, he bangs the top of it down, so it makes noise. So it's almost like it's clapping as he's walking. Little things like he's got the big belly. I think so we always say that anything with a big belly is just, it's cheating, because it's brilliant. It's cheating and it's brilliant at the same time, because
lovable,
like it's lovable. You can like do like the butt bumps. You can do a bunch of like they're very cute looking mascots. Like I'm
trying to think now. Are there what buff mascots are there?
Well, like
the Gladiator, I guess. The Ottawa one is the Ottawa.
Sparty Cat.
Sparty Cat.
No, it's just
Sparty Cat's big,
got a
right?
huge head.
Yeah.
He's got a big mane.
Okay.
But no, like any of the big belly mascots they're funny. They're cute.
I got you.
Yeah, they're lovable, cuddable.
All right.
Carlton's in there. He's got the big belly. But yeah, there's a couple of them that are.
You might be biased, but what sport has the best mascots?
People are gonna say NBA because they have to do the trampoline stuff, but I've done it. I've jumped on a tramp as NJ. Did a skit with
on the ice.
No.
Okay, I was gonna say that.
No.
Imagine that's imagine
no,
that
I've done
goal.
like basketball games where NJ's I jumped on a tramp and dunked. It's
okay.
But I'm gonna be biased. Sorry, NHL is the best.
Okay,
hockey are the best mascots in sports, and the only reason why I will say this is because we don't have a court that we can just run on. We don't have a field that we can just run on and do a skit. We have glass and boards. So ours is a lot of crowd work, which doesn't get the attention because it's not on camera usually. Where there's also some restrictions, like the NBA, they kind of let their mascots have a little more free reign with referees and opposing players, which is great. That's their entertainment. That's awesome. I'm not saying anything against the NHL for not letting us, or I'm not saying anything with the NBA that they let their guys do that, but that's part of their entertainment. I think it's funny. I think it's great. So they've got to be creative in that end, where we have to be more creative in our crowd work, I would say.
You guys do a good job, actually. That's a good point. Now that I think about it,
we can't just run on the field and But that's where I'm gonna say the NHL, but I'm also gonna say each sport has their own thing.
Yeah.
Each sport does their own thing, and that's why they're all great. They're all great in what they do. I love working with the fellow guys from other leagues. I love working with the guys in the NHL. I think, I just think we have great jobs.
I think you've done a good job of enticing people and bringing them into the world of a mascot. Let's end on this, because I'm sure there's people listening to this right now after hearing all of your great stories and how great this job is. They might be thinking about it. They might say, wow, man, that might be something good to try. So what advice would you give to people if they're listening to this saying, I would love to give that a try? Is there a school?
It's not easy. There are some at the college level, they do some cheer camps and stuff where people can go and learn how to be mascots, and there's some other things too. There's some seminars that some of my pro buddies I know that run seminars for people who are interested or people who are currently minor league college mascots that are looking to get to that next step. I've mentored a couple along the way. I don't really know. It's really tough for me to answer that, actually. But I think if you're thinking
there's
about
no standardized way. It's not like I want to be a
look,
broadcaster.
we just talked for an hour and some minutes about how I wasn't even going to do it. I didn't even know about this. I didn't even know it existed. And I got roped into it.
Yeah.
And I got roped into something that I now love to do. And there's other guys who do the dance route, or a lot of guys that are, I know some guys that are in the NBA that do a lot of the high flying and gymnastics aspects of it that were, they went to Big Ten universities or SEC or ACC colleges, and they were on the cheer team. And part of the cheer team was maybe they were on the cheer team their freshman, sophomore year, on the gymnastics team, and then they became a mascot their junior, senior year, or whatever the case may be. I know guys who've done that. I know guys that, I think the one thing is, once you get there, decide on what you want to be and then run with it. So look at the character and go, what would this character need to do? Because it's not always about running around rampant and being crazy. NJ's, he does some fun stuff, but it's a character. NJ's part mischievous, part human, right? The story is that he was birthed from a mother down in the Pine Barrens. He's actually part human. So, yeah. I don't wear big booted skates. I wear actual hockey skates. I don't,
Where actually, I've never heard the story of NJ Devil. That's interesting.
NJ Devil.
So there's actual backstory to NJ.
There is a story of the lure of the New Jersey Devil, back from the 1700s mythological story.
Really?
Yeah.
So part human, part
devil. He was the 13th child of a woman, and he was kind of neglected and
sad. But it's a rags to riches story, though.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where, so I kind of I didn't know that, right? I didn't know when I first got here. So I was like, how am I going to do this character? So I kind of read up on it and kind of realized that NJ's legitimately part human. So NJ's not always, he jumps on railings and does backflips and stuff like that, but he also, like you said with the kids, simple high five, he's also kind of part human in a way.
Yeah.
So I think if anybody's interested in doing it, or anybody's currently a mascot now, just kind of take what sets you apart from other people, and then be as creative as you can, but also understanding that there's limits to each character.
Yeah.
That's basically what I would say. And then, just try to grow. You try to talk to as many guys as you can, guys or girls, and try to grow, and try to always want to make your career better every day. So.
Well, this has been a very enlightening conversation, man.
Yeah,
Thanks
I hope
for
it was
jumping us on.
interesting. No, I mean I know some of these stories were long and some of these explanations were long, but I was just trying to try to make it as quick as I can and try to make people understand that it's more than just hey, I was Jeremy the Giraffe once at Toys R Us. Like, yeah, it's.
Were you Jeremy the Giraffe
No,
once at Toys R Us?
No,
Okay,
I'm just saying, like, it's a little different, but it's.
We got some great insight here on the life of a mascot. More than I'd ever hoped for, and it's amazing because I learned a lot, and I know our listeners did too. So, wanted to thank you for coming on the podcast, man. It's been fun.
Yeah, you're welcome. And again, I just want to say, thanks for letting me come on and kind of not so much explain my story, but just kind of bring light to, we're human. So if you're not a fan of Devils, listen to this, and the next time you think about harassing a mascot, just think we're human. This is a job. We're here to entertain. We're not here to get into conflicts. But thank you very much. I appreciate it. And it's always a pleasure working with you, Arda.
You too. NJ. So there it is, a really fun conversation with NJ Devil. Feel free to check out all of our past podcasts at msgnetworks.com, iTunes, Google Play, wherever you get your podcasts. Check out my draft coverage this week. The New Jersey Devils will pick number 1 overall in the NHL draft. This past Monday on msgnetworks.com, my latest blog focused on Nolan Patrick versus Nico Hischier, all the important points of debate. So you definitely want to check that out. I'll also have continued coverage on Friday when the decision is finally made. So check it all out at msgnetworks.com. Until next Wednesday here on the Apod, I'm Arda Ocal. Thank you very much for listening.